What's up, everybody? Welcome into NBA DFS Live for Friday, February 5th. I am your host, Ben Husser, joined by Justin Bales. Bales, bigger slate tonight, but I think this is going to be the chalkiest slate in a while. Obviously, not a ton of injury news today, but the big one is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, George Hill, Lou Dort all out for the Thunder, and that is going to present just a super high-owned Thunder team. We kind of got this situation the other day. Dort played for a little bit in that game, so he was like active heading into the game. But SGA and George Hill were out. A lot of them guys were cheap, so everyone was playing Maladon, Hamidou Diallo. Justin Jackson, I think, was going to be super chalky, and then it got announced he wasn't starting, so that kind of knocked him down a little bit. But today, I think most people are probably going to be playing 4 Thunder guys on DraftKings, and I haven't messed around with FanDuel, but I wouldn't be shocked if you're playing, 2, 3, 4 of those guys over there too, without pulling the salaries up. So I think overall on DraftKings, it's going to be a pretty chalky night. So what's your thoughts on the slate other than that? So I think for tournaments, it could be good because we kind of know what the chalk build is going to be, so you can get a little bit different. But overall, where should we talk about the Thunder, I feel like, today?
Yeah, it's a Thunder night. The good thing is you can obviously pivot off of them. Like their prices aren't so low that you necessarily need to lock them in completely. And the guys that are low, like Justin Jackson, just aren't great fantasy options. So it's not necessarily Justin Jackson gets 30 minutes and he's going to destroy value. Whereas like if Diallo was still 4K, you would 100% have to play him. And Diallo is kind of the guy that I'm taking a stand on tonight. I am 99% sure that I will play him, but Maladon and Bazley are both priced up a little bit. Al Horford at 6K, isn't necessarily going to dominate value or anything. I think Kendrick Williams at 3,500 is reasonable, but not really an elite play. So yeah, it's going to be chalky. In cash, everyone knows exactly where everyone's going. That's going to be pretty clear. But I do think in tournaments you can move off some of the Thunder chalk.
Well, we spoke too soon, Bills. Jaylen Brown ruled out just now. So
Tremendous.
that adds a little bit of a layer. Bumps up, obviously, Tatum. You have Kemba Smart is still out, but you have Kemba Walker there. So Tatum and Walker definitely get bumps up. You can look at maybe the big guys too. But mainly Tatum, you probably really want to play without pulling up the numbers. Obviously, these projections I have up are not going to reflect that news as it literally just came out. But you're probably going to want to play Tatum, and I wouldn't be shocked if we end up on Kemba too, depending on what his price is on DraftKings.
I agree for the most part. The good thing about Brown getting ruled out versus like SGA and Dort and George Hill is that at least Brown was playing the Clippers. So, it's not, obviously like Jason Tatum's going to be a much better play and whatnot, but they at least still have a defense that can slow guys down. Whereas the Oklahoma City guys get Minnesota. So, it's going to be
there's also just other good players, right? Like him being out, like you have Tatum and Kemba, right? Whereas like the Thunder without SGA, they don't have like any big names.
Guy.
So you're more inclined to play like 4 of them. Whereas for the Celtics, like you probably are only going to play like maybe 1 or 2 of them. That is big news though.
I'll say, listen, we're going to get more news before lock. It happens. Every Friday it happens with these big slates. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, I mentioned to you right before we hopped on here, Paul George got moved down to questionable, and now they ruled Jaylen Brown out. So I'm wondering if the Clippers would be like more inclined to sit Paul George now that Jaylen Brown.
That'd be interesting. Then we have Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, you could like get Tatum and Kawhi, and that's the late game. I don't know. We're probably not going to get that Paul George news, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm pretty surprised we got the Jaylen Brown news this early. I actually wish that would have came out like much closer to lock, but it is what it is. All right, we will talk about some positional plays here, starting at point guard. So now that we've kind of got that out of the way, we don't need to go in depth here in the positions on the Thunder guys. It's very clear that we're playing, in cash on DraftKings. I'll just literally say, I'm planning right now without like looking at things now that this Celtics news it. As of right now, Maladon, Diallo, Baisley, and probably Justin Jackson are probably going to be in my cash lineup. Probably going to be in most people's cash lineups, I would assume. So we don't need to dive into that a ton. So outside of the Thunder situation, who do you like at point guard today?
If I'm paying up, I feel like two guys, maybe potentially three, stick out. The two that I really like, actually, I'll save one for shooting guard. So just to take away everything that I just said. Kyrie Irving at 9,100, I do think is 100% fine. That total is just ridiculous. And we've seen Irving have some big games, even with the Durant and Harden playing. So I do really like Kyrie Irving. And then the other one is Malcolm Brogdon at 8,000. I don't want to say it's too cheap for Brogdon, and he's been struggling a bit recently, but I feel like he should be priced closer to like 8.5, 8.6. So I mean, if I can get up to 8K, I have no problems playing Brogdon, especially against New Orleans tonight. I do think that there's other guys. I think Russell Westbrook is relatively fine at 9K. There's another guy right around there, but I'm going to say for shooting guard because I don't know how many elite options really there are on the slate at each position. So at point specifically, if I'm paying up, it's probably going to be Irving, Brogdon, or maybe you can take a shot on Russell Westbrook, but I would probably just play Irving instead of him.
Yeah, Kyrie definitely at the top of the tournament list, given that total in that game. And I would throw the Toronto guys in there too, Lowry and VanVleet. Yeah. Obviously, VanVleet's coming off
too. I was waiting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, coming off. I mean, that last game was insane. And I mean, I don't know if this is still the case, but I think heading into that last game, the Nets were first in offensive rating and last in defensive rating since they traded for Harden. So I mean,
yeah, and historically bad defensively.
Yeah, I mean, hence why the total is 240, which is insane. But yeah, so you can definitely throw those guys in there. LaMelo, what are you doing with LaMelo? Assuming Rozier's back because he's probable. I still think you could play him in tournaments, but I would need a lot of teams, I think, to get to him. But still in play, I think.
Yeah, I think he's reasonable because he can do so much, but I don't like the matchup against Utah, and I do think that there's a lot of really good spots to attack. So LaMelo, assuming Rozier is back, probably doesn't make my cut. But, if you want to throw him in a tournament lineup, if you're running multiple lineups, I have no issues with it. Anthony said, is tonight chalk? Yeah, this could be the chalkiest slate that we've had of the entire year, honestly.
Yeah, this Boston stuff definitely mixes it up a little bit. So Kemba's 65 on DraftKings. That's pretty solid.
That's reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, probably want to play him. And then we can drop down to the mid tier. There's a couple good mid tier plays. Darius Garland, if Colin Sexton is out, I think would be interesting. He's averaging about 20 real points, I think, with Sexton off the floor per 36. And he can contribute. His passing has been much better this year compared to what we saw in his rookie year. And then Cole Anthony, you said you wrote him up, so I'll let you talk a little bit about him. But I think Cole Anthony is one of the better tournament plays on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, with Markelle Fultz, Michael Carter-Williams, and Aaron Gordon as the three primary ball handlers, I know Fournier's doing a little bit, but all three are out and hurt. So Cole Anthony has taken on a much larger role. He's locked into more or less 30-plus minutes each night. And he should be running the pick and roll with Vucevic to get him a few assists. But we know that Chicago is arguably the worst defense in the NBA against the pick and roll. They struggle against point guards. And Cole Anthony was chalk the other night and didn't really do what many expected. He had a fine game at 28 fantasy points, but I think he scored 4 or 5 or something in the first quarter, and a lot of people were tilting him. So I feel like he's probably just going to go under-owned on the entire slate. Outside of Anthony, I think Kobe White at 6K is actually pretty interesting. And then obviously you have D'Angelo Russell on the other side of OKC. He's point guard eligible at 69, but we probably will outline him as shooting guard.
Yeah, I agree. Super good match. Like Anthony was chalk in a much tougher matchup. Now he gets arguably the best matchup. And just because we have these Thunder guys and now Kemba that people will want to play, just no one is really going to look at Cole Anthony. But I think he's a really strong tournament play. Do you have any like really cheap guys at point guard you like, or is the mid tier kind of where you're going?
I think this is a ridiculous play, but
Oh man,
we're getting to that point. Frank Mason, if he's going to get 20 minutes tonight, he's a guy that we've already seen. I believe it was in the bubble. He dropped like 40 fantasy points in legit like 20 minutes, and he did it multiple times. Um, and obviously, he'll also get the point guard role against the Chicago defense. So if you want to get real weird, if Frank Mason is 3K and he's supposed to make his debut tonight, and if he does happen to get around 20 minutes, I think he pretty easily beats value.
yeah, I don't mind him in tournaments as a pure punt. Like if you want to go superstars and scrubs, and especially because some of these Thunder guys, like they're more in the 5K tier now compared to the 4K tier.
Mhm.
So I don't hate that for tournaments, but probably wouldn't trust it in cash games. But yeah, not
Oh,
not
yeah.
not a horrible dart in tournaments.
The upside's there. And if it was anyone besides Chicago, I feel like I would probably back off a little bit more.
Yeah,
But I mean, with such a chalky slate, if you want to do something ridiculous, Frank Mason is a high upside guy that I feel like no one really talks about.
yeah, I don't disagree. We'll move to shooting guard. Obviously, some big names here: James Harden, Bradley Beal, PG. Whether or not he plays, that remains to be seen. Zach LaVine and then Van Vliet. Do you like any of these high price shooting guards for your main team? I think if I was gonna pick one, I'm torn. If I was gonna pick one, I think I'm torn between LaVine and Van Vliet. Honestly,
Yeah, those are the two that really stick out. The one thing I will say is Bradley Beal's scoring on the road this season has been, like some of the best in NBA history, honestly. So he's at Miami, you can play him if you want, but for me, I feel like I'm going to be picking between Zach LaVine and Fred VanVleet. And if I had to pick one of the two right now, slight lean VanVleet, but I'm fine with either of them. And I do think that it's a fine option to play both of them because I don't think it's going to be overly difficult. High eights or anything like Levine's 84 and VanVleet is under 8. So it wouldn't be too difficult to get them both in your lineup if you wanted.
yeah. I don't disagree with that. I don't know. I'm looking like at this mid tier. Like I'm just not. I think Malik Beasley is interesting for tournaments. Even with Russell in, if Russell was out, I'd be really in on Beasley at 6,400. But I do think he's playable anyways, especially because we're gonna be playing a couple Thunder guys. And I think like I think Russell has a higher upside than Beasley, but I think in terms of like a floor, I don't really know if they're that far off. Like I don't know if they're that far off.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Like
I
they're kind of
really like.
similar players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm honestly not overly high on D'Angelo Russell. I do get it bringing back the OKC stack with him, but I think that you can also do that with Malik Beasley, and he's 500 cheaper, and he's going to have a lot less ownership. So in tournaments, I definitely think that I would prefer Beasley.
Yeah, I mean Russell is going to pop in projections. It does kind of feel like he's due for like a nice game. I don't know, man. Matchup is good. It makes sense as like a run back, but like so he's 6,900. Like I would rather play Kemba at this point now with this Brown news. I think for 400 cheaper.
I don't. I want to say that I agree, but I really don't know if I want to play him against Los Angeles. Is my problem. Not that I think like they're unstoppable defense or anything, but the difference between Oklahoma City's defense and Los Angeles is pretty drastic. So
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I don't know. I'll have to look at stuff after we get off here. Okay, so below Beasley, you like anyone in the mid tier? I know you like Diallo. We kind of were talking about the Thunder guys. Like is the
Yeah.
obvious play here. So we were talking about just stacking the Minnesota Oklahoma City game. You want to play any Anthony Edwards today?
Anthony Edwards. If Russell's out, I think Edwards is a pretty solid play. Strictly tournaments. I don't know if I'm ever going to play Anthony Edwards in cash again. And
Yeah,
I
dude,
should
that
honestly
was a disaster.
I shouldn't say it because if everything's right, I will easily just plug anyone. I don't care who they are into my lineups. But at 6,200, Fournier actually looks pretty appealing tonight, just because I know Chicago's bad against the point guard, but they're just really bad at defending the pick and roll. And if you look at Fournier, his usage rating is up, and in his last game, it was actually above 35%. So they are running the offense through him a decent amount, and literally no one, it doesn't matter the matchup, anything, the price, it does like nothing matters. Fournier just never gets any ownership.
Yeah, he definitely does, and particularly good like FanDuel play because you have to play two shooting guards. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't mind that. You have anyone cheap here?
I think Denzel Valentine, if you want to take a shot there, he's only 3,400 and he should get
Frank
some minutes.
Mason and Denzel Valentine. Bales
Could you imagine
today.
at this point? I don't even like Valentine. I don't like if you're anticipating he drops 30 again, you're crazy. But he's 3,400, and I mean, that's I don't think it's that bad of a play. It's not.
Yeah, I mean you could talk me into it for tournaments if you really like your team and you only have that much left. Like I don't mind it. All right, we'll move to small forward. Durant, Kawhi, Jimmy Butler at the top here. I think Kawhi at 8,800 on DraftKings would be super interesting if PG was out. Especially like if we get post lock news that PG's out, like swap it on to Kawhi, I think would definitely be good. And that's a really cheap price tag. I like Durant at 96. Just in general, like in that game, like not someone I'd play in cash, I don't think, because I don't think like builds are gonna leave you with that much to spend. But I mean, if you told me like you have to play Durant tonight, I mean, I wouldn't really talk you out of it. And then Butler, I think, is in a good matchup as well. I played him on FanDuel in that last game. He didn't really like score that well. He shot 5 for 11, but only 19 points. It's such a good matchup for him against Washington. Now he's at home, 8,300. I think he's a really good tournament play.
What?
Butler, I think, is super good for tournaments. But
Oh, I think you cut out, and it sounded like you said what, like mid sentence to me, and I was like,
nah.
"What are
Dude,
you?"
yeah,
No,
I dropped like a couple frames.
All right, I agree. I think Kevin Durant's really good. Butler, 100% fine with. Leonard is honestly probably going to be one of the best plays on the slate if Paul George is out. He's just way too cheap for that. Up towards the higher end of the prices, two guys that I do like: Gordon Hayward at 75. You have the revenge narrative against Utah here at 7K. His price has dropped drastically, even though he's coming off another big game. So I think that Jeremy Grant's a good tournament option. I probably wouldn't use them, obviously, in cash with someone like Diallo here, but I do think that you could spend up here in tournaments, and I feel like they're all going to go a bit lower owned than they should on the slate, just because so many are probably just going to play Diallo.
Yeah, Baisley as well is small forward.
Oh yeah.
So people will be playing him here. I'm mad at Jeremy Grant. I'm not gonna lie. I come on here for years. I defend Jeremy Grant. I say I'm a fan of Jeremy Grant. If you look at this, I played him for that 34.3 against Cleveland. That's all well and good. And then I played him for that 27.8 and that 22.8. And you bet I didn't play him for that 44.5. I mean, what is going on here?
That's how it goes.
Yeah,
that's how it goes. That's how I feel about Gordon Hayward. Everyone was like, Gordon Hayward's such a terrible buy for Charlotte. And I was like, hey, listen, he's not that bad of a player. And then he comes out and he dominates every night that I don't use him.
What night was that? Was that Monday? or Tuesday?
I played him against the Pacers when
Yeah,
it
when did
was
they play Philly? Or was that Wednesday? Dude, I don't even know what day it is. Whenever they
yeah
played
when
Philly. Okay,
they
yeah.
played Philly Wednesday and he
Dude,
dropped over
I had
40.
like the nuts, man. I had him in there. I had a really good team. I think I had him and Baisley. And I just felt so strong because that was the night the Celtics were without Kemba and Smart. Like I felt so like I already had
Yeah.
Tatum, but I felt so strong about Jaylen Brown too. So I moved Hayward up to Jaylen Brown, and I had to move off Baisley. And if I would have just rocked with Hayward and Baisley, dude, it would have been amazing. But yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I know I literally haven't been able to get Gordon Hayward right this year either.
Tough guy. But I think Taurean Prince at 4,500 is interesting. He's going to get, around 30 minutes. Is there any way I can interest you in Javonte Green? Min price Javonte Green.
Yeah, so I actually think that Javonte Green might start today. Like I would not be shocked if he starts this game for Jaylen Brown. So keep your eye on that. Like so that's news that we're probably not going to get until well after lock. But yeah, I mean if he was starting and he's 3K, why not? I'll take a shot on him in tournaments.
I now you're on board.
I'm on board. So if we know he's starting, I'll take him over either of the other two cheap guys that we talked about.
Yeah, I think I would too. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, so that actually is a good call, I think. Do you have anyone else? I guess no, I can't do it.
Kyner Williams, I think at 35 is reasonable.
Yeah, he had the ball. He had the ball in his hands a lot when he was in. I'm actually shocked more people don't want to chase that because he did have 30 DraftKings points. Like, why do people normally? That's like exactly like Malik Monk the other night. He was like 25% owned.
Yeah.
Why is no one wanting to chase him? Yeah.
But just because I don't think people really know that he played that much or anything, honestly.
Yeah. Like, he's probably a better player than Justin Jackson. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. Justin Jackson's going to get the minutes, but he just does nothing.
Kendrick Williams had the ball in his hands a lot, and it's like a similar situation. Although I guess so we're assuming Jackson's going to start for Dort, I would guess, right? I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah, that would make sense, I would assume.
Yeah, so Jackson's probably safer, but I don't know. Kendrick Williams probably has a higher upside.
Yeah, I think
Justin Jackson just doesn't do anything, dude.
Yeah,
him playing rough with the starters, like he's gonna do even less.
That's what I would assume too.
But all right, something to monitor. We'll move to power forward. We once again have very cheap Domantas Sabonis. I mean, he came out, so he came out and had 60. Okay. And then they dropped him from 87 to 83. He responded with a 59 DraftKings point outing, and they're like, "Oh, we'll move him up a couple hundred to 86." So he's still not at what he was 2 games ago after a 60 and 59, which I don't understand. So I'm imagining he is going to be massively owned. Once again, you also have Giannis, Durant, and Jason Tatum, who will not be without Jaylen Brown. So a stacked position at the top here. Do you agree that you probably want to play Sabonis? And I don't know. I guess I want to play Tatum now too, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the two that I want to play most now are Sabonis and Tatum, but I do think that Giannis is right behind them.
Yeah, and you and I, so before we got that Celtics news, like even without it, like Giannis is probably going to be pretty chalky. It's really easy to fit him because we're playing all these Thunder guys, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a crazy position with like Durant, and then you have guys like even like Gordon Hayward and Jeremy Grant are power forward eligible. Zion, you have Pascal Siakam. I mean, just a lot of really, really good plays at power forward tonight, which means you're going to have to make some type of choice here.
Yeah, I think Zion's interesting for tournaments. I think he's coming off a season high, right? 48 DK points. I think that's his highest total of the year.
I think he scored 50-some on Christmas, didn't he?
He might have.
I could be wrong, but
if
I thought he did.
48 is close. Yeah, he might have. He did play really well on Christmas.
Yeah, he just kept going to the line over and over and over.
Yeah. All right. Well, regardless, 48 is good. I think it's a sneaky good matchup too against Indiana. Like normally you think of like Miles Turner, like is not great down low, but they actually aren't super good against big men. So I think it's a sneaky
Mhm.
good matchup. So I think for tournaments that's fine, but I wouldn't play him over Sabonis in cash at all.
Yeah.
Dropping down, do you want to chase Thad Young at 6,200 on DraftKings?
I've been saying this from the jump, and it's bit me every single time. I don't think that Thad can continue to do his whole triple double thing when his usage sits at legit like 16%. It's just he doesn't have the ball in his hands enough to consistently get close to 10 assists. It's not going to continue to happen. With that being said, his last game it did jump to 25%. I'm expecting it to come back down a little bit. I'm not going to continue to chase him. With that said, I don't think he's a bad play. I just think he's kind of priced himself out, and I'm not really gonna go there. I don't think there's just too many good plays for me to be like, "Yep, Thad Young tonight."
Yeah, I mean, basically at 57 is such a better play, I think. But Thad, he's just good, man. When he gets center minutes, he's good. I actually think
Yeah,
like real life basketball, he's solid. Like if I was a team that was contending, I would try and trade for him. I think honestly, depending on like
yeah, I'd be good.
rosters and stuff. But I think real life basketball, he's decent. But I don't want to pay 6,200 for him. I think an interesting play is Bobby Portis in tournaments. Like the Cavs are really bad against big men. Like Bobby Portis just feels like the type of guy that would succeed against them, and especially if you want to bake in that, the Bucks are probably going to blow out the Cavs in this one. Maybe you could pick up a extra few minutes there.
I can't stand that.
What?
Yeah,
Bobby
I love
Portis?
Bobby Portis tonight, but only if the Cavs get blown out. And
No, I think I
no,
mean
I
he just had 43 in what, like 19 minutes.
talk about chasing.
No, I'm saying, but like it's in the tank to do it, right? And he already has. I think he had a 40 DK point game against the Cavs already this year.
No, I like Bobby Portis tonight. I think he's a fine play. It's just I don't know. I hate anytime you have to rely on a team getting blown out for your guy to get the extra
Yeah,
run. And
I think for tournaments it's fine though.
no, I agree.
What about Bertans, man? What's going on there?
I don't honestly
People
know.
are like, dude, so I love Davis Bertans. I think he's good. People have been quick to just turn on him, how he's like awful, like he's stealing money from the Wizards, like awful. Like, dude, this guy was out forever, right? Like, and he's a shooter.
Yeah.
Like, let him get his legs back underneath him, dude.
No, I agree. He didn't look that bad in his last game either. I mean,
Oh, look at his shot chart though, dude. 4 for 10, 1 of 7. Okay, then he had a 6 for 10, 0 for 7, 4 for 13, 2 for 10, 3 for 8, right? Like, let him like get a night where he can actually shoot the ball and he's gonna be fine.
yeah, no, I agree. He's so cheap too. Like the ceiling's there. It's just I don't trust him whatsoever. And it's so hard to play like these decent plays. Like I would call Davis Bertans like a decent play tonight. But like why use a decent play when you can fill your entire team with like elite options because of the way the slate is?
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. All right, you have anyone here? You move to center?
No, I think we hit pretty much everyone.
All right, we'll finish up at center. Giannis, who we just talked about, obviously on DK Sabonis, who we talked about. You have Bam Adebayo there at 9,200. And then you have far and away our highest projected value right now in our projections portal, which you can see on the screen. Nikola Vucevic, 8,500 against the Bulls. Good matchup. Really good price tag. Tough not to play Vooch tonight, I feel.
Yeah, I think he's one of my favorite plays on the entire slate. It's just he's going to be chalky, so you kind of have to just eat the chalk. But I think it's good chalk, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fine fading him in tournaments. Anytime he gets like high ownership, I'm fine fading in tournaments. But for cash, like tough not to play him at that price, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a lot of really good centers though. Like I hate to say it, but Al Horford at 61 is too cheap. Rudy Gobert against Charlotte, I have no problems whatsoever. On the other side, actually, I don't mind Cody Zeller as long as he's going to get the time. Mason Plumlee's only 5,500. Miles Turner at 63 isn't that bad. Naz Reid at 54, I like against OKC. I mean, that's plenty of options in my opinion. That's a really good night, and that's not even like Bam Adebayo, who obviously just has like a ridiculous ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of good options here. Another one I like in the mid tier, Chris Boucher. We were talking about it before the stream. He's really cheap. They've kind of been going to Baines to combat like the size of these other teams. Like they played the Magic back-to-back games, so they were kind of rolling with Baines. But I think the Nets is the perfect matchup to get Boucher back involved. Like the Nets are so bad defensively, and they don't really have anyone that can guard him anyway. So if he does get 20 to 25 minutes tonight, that's like a long shot, right? Because he just hasn't been getting it at all, and they clearly don't really trust him. But the matchup says that he could maybe see an expanded role. If he does get those minutes, he's gonna post a really big score for his price. So for tournaments, that's someone I would keep my eye on.
Yeah, I agree with that. So here's something interesting. Peyton Pritchard is available to play.
Okay.
Where do you put him with Jaylen Brown being out? Do you think they give him any time at shooting guard?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go look on Popcorn Machine and see. I don't know if he's even played any. Has he played any shooting guard this year, or has he been strictly point guard?
Truthfully, I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go dive into that. Figure that out. Yeah, this Celtics news is interesting. But this is final thoughts is free today, so you'll be able to get my thoughts on it in like an hour. Like there you go, be right there for you. You don't even have to watch a video. You could just click it and read it. All right, you have anyone else at center you like?
No, I think that's basically it.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. This is a big slate, obviously. So, we'll be in Discord talking. If you guys have any more questions, you can ask us in there. Bales, you can give me a bold call for tonight.
I'm going. If someone said any Naz Reid, yeah, we both like Reid. He's fine. My bold call is Diallo scores a season high 45 fantasy points.
All right, I like it. I'm gonna go with Chris Boucher. Double. Chris Boucher double tonight. It's happening.
Bold, I like it.
Bales, give me like a Super Bowl bet off the top of your head as well, since this is our last stream before the Super Bowl. I got one locked and ready to go. Been thinking about this all day.
All right, what's yours?
First touchdown, Antonio Brown. Been thinking about this all day.
That's not a bad bet.
I think the odds are pretty good on DK. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but they're pretty good.
I honestly don't have anything off the top of my head, but I will go with.
I like to put you on the spot. That's when you get the real.
Yeah,
the real responses.
I have the one bet, but it's for our Bet Karma thing, so I can't just give it out.
We can't reveal the goods for free, right?
I'll go Leonard Fournette under 4.5 receptions.
Okay, yeah, that actually sounds pretty good to me. Do you like so I bet this like every freaking year, the missed extra point. Are you in on that?
A missed extra. I think this year it's actually pretty good because they do miss extra
plus 155 on DraftKings for a missed extra point, dude.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad. My problem is it's the Super Bowl, so I feel like there's not going to be as much scoring as people are anticipating. Yeah. And if that's the case, like if there's only 4 touchdowns or something, the chances that they miss an extra point are pretty slim. But for plus odds, I don't actually hate it.
Yeah, because I feel like these kickers always miss an extra point. And I did this the first year this is before Bet Karma was even a thing. We filled out this sheet of all of us picked our favorite bet for the Super Bowl, like me, you, Travis, everybody, and that was mine. And it was the Patriots Eagles Super Bowl, and the first touchdown they missed an extra point, and I've bet it every year since then.
Someone asked you, what's your favorite bet? And your response was, gotta be a missed extra point.
Yeah, and it hit like the first touchdown. It was the first quarter.
I love it.
Incredible. I'm gonna bet it every year now too, just because of that.
I mean, it's good now that
It's
the
great.
line's back.
Yeah. Also, Mel Kiper, his first mock came out, I think yesterday or today. I think he had three receivers in the top 10. Are you down for that?
No, there's no way. Literally no chance that happens. Right?
I think, yeah. I mean, I think 2 is unlikely. I could see 2 happening, but I still think it's unlikely. 3 would just be insane.
Right? Most likely 4 quarterbacks. Minimum 3 quarterbacks. Most likely
probably
4 quarterbacks, in my opinion. You're going to have Seal and Slater both gone by then. That only leads 4 picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like I said, I think 2 is unlikely. I could see 2 happen. I could see Chase and Devonta Smith going in the top 10. I could see it. It's probably only be one of them, but I could see it.
Who? Yeah, no, I agree. Who's the third? Waddle?
Yeah, that's what he had.
I can't imagine.
I don't think Waddle's going to go top 10 though. No way.
Yeah, no way.
I think it would be more likely there's 4 quarterbacks than 3 receivers for sure, dude.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I actually think that 4 quarterback goes.
You think a running back goes first round?
First round, yeah, probably. Travis Etienne or
man, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
They usually do.
Jonathan Taylor didn't go in the first round.
Stop with the Jonathan Taylor stuff.
Dude, Jonathan
Taylor.
Taylor.
Edwards-Helaire did.
I know, but if it was a last pick, that doesn't really count. Like it does, but like, you know, like, dude, the whole summer people are like, oh, he's got first round draft capital. Like, you went with the last pick, dude. Like,
hey, you still get the 5 years.
Dude?
You still get the 5 years.
Yeah. Come on. I could see it. I don't know if it'll happen. Imagine if it doesn't, dude. People will be going crazy at the top of the second to get those guys.
Yeah. No,
I could see one of like the mid to later teams, like the Steelers. I could see them just being stupid, taking running back. I could definitely see it. They're stupid.
That wouldn't shock me. They need one.
But
anyway,
the Steelers generally draft good, so like they're like dumb, but not like that. Like,
yeah,
they generally draft pretty good. All right, we're talking about football now, so this is just time to.
We're still on the show
to clearly end this. All right, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back on Monday. I hope like you guys enjoy this weekend Super Bowl. Like I said, we'll be in Discord. Final thoughts free today. Check out free content dfscover.com. Bales writes 100 articles every day. We'll see you Monday. Good luck tonight.